We said that we're going to make this a weekly thing and we stuck to our word. We're back. Welcome to Recap, which is a show where we bring to you some of the biggest tech news over the past week and break it down in a way that is digestible to anybody, irrespective of your interests or your background. My name is Ajuwon and I'm going to be your host for today, and you can find me on my social media handles at Elijah_Ajuwon. Recap is a show powered by Arkisites, which is an organization that aims to bridge the access gap between the tech sector and minority ethnic communities. If you want to find out more about the work we do or how we do it, please visit our website at www.arkisites.co.uk. Now that I've got all the introductions out of the way, let's jump straight into the good stuff. Facebook is launching its own venture capitalist arm to make small investments into tech firms, reports Axios. Recently, Facebook posted a job opening in an attempt to hire a head of investments for its new product experimentation team. And it says that it wants to have a preference for somebody who's got at least 10 years of experience in tech. The description of the role goes as follows. In this role, you will manage a multi-million-dollar fund that invests in leading private companies alongside top venture capital firms and angel investors. Facebook said in the now deleted job posting that you will develop investment and impact theses, leading the execution of new investments and supporting existing portfolio companies as needed. Now, Facebook have confirmed that they have hired somebody for this role. However, they refuse to share the name of this individual or the size of the fund. So, why is this important? Well, here's the thing. Acquisitions have been part of Facebook's bread and butter for many, many years now, and they are known for acquiring or investing in well-known startups such as WhatsApp, Instagram, Reliance Jio, Oculus, and Giphy, just to name a few. However, and I hope I am not wrong here because it will actually be awkward, but this is the first time that Facebook will actually have an official role that is dedicated to investing in new and exciting startups. And yes, it probably won't have the funds and most definitely not have the manpower that other venture arms, like the likes of Google, Intel, or Qualcomm will have, but it is a step in the right direction. When tech firms launch a formal investing program, it could actually enhance the capabilities of the firm to spot the next big social media app or emerging technology before it becomes widely adopted by the public. Look, I know, last week we talked about antitrust probes. However, Facebook's recent acquisitions are a show of the firm's financial strength, and despite the fact that the pandemic has actually tripled the number of tech firms, Facebook can still boast stable revenues and will go through the pandemic with relative comfort. This now puts Facebook in a place where they can strengthen their position as a tech giant and in the next couple of months and over probably the next couple of years. So let me throw a question at you guys. What sectors or spaces do you think that Facebook will try to invest in or enter next? Let us know in the comments below. About a month ago, a well-known unicorn, I just realized that some of you guys may not know what a unicorn actually is, so let me take some time to quickly define it for you guys. A unicorn is a privately held company with a market valuation of over $1 billion. Now that that's done, let's continue with the story. About a month ago, a well-known unicorn, Airbnb, a company that connects travelers with a place to stay, announced that it was laying off around a quarter of its workforce. In a statement by Brian Chesty, who is the founder and CEO of Airbnb, we learned that 25%, or around 2,000 employees, were going to be laid off, impacting a number of their internal product groups. As a result of this, some of their internal products were either being placed on hold or were, in Brian Chesty's words, being scaled back. Now, unless you're living under a rock, you don't need to be told that this probably is the result of the pandemic that we are in, which has subsequently impacted tourism and travel. Airbnb has also taken a hit as they anticipated that its 2020 revenue will be under 50% of 2019's total of around $5 billion, according to a copy of the financial report. In fact, just to stay afloat, Airbnb has raised about $2 billion of capital. I've been following up on Airbnb's progress since this announcement was made through articles, thought pieces, and videos, and I can tell you that the commentary surrounding their situation has been somewhat concerning. Some customers who have booked through Airbnb, they haven't got some of their money back on cancelled bookings, and some individuals who use Airbnb to rent out some of their properties for a short bit of time were not reimbursed for these cancellations as well. There were serious doubts from news pages and investors and people in industry as to whether or not Airbnb can even find their feet. Despite all of this, Airbnb have found a way to rebound amid a staycation boom. Yes, international travel is restricted, but as countries around the world relax their lockdown measures, more individuals are resorting to making staycation bookings in their home country. According to Airbnb CEO, the number of nights booked at US listings between May 17th and June the 3rd was greater than the same weeks from the previous year, and similar increases in domestic holidays are being seen in other nations around the world, and some of these nations include Germany, Portugal, South Korea, and New Zealand. Now, this is not a victory speech, and it is obvious that Airbnb hasn't fully healed from the effects of COVID-19. However, some of the big and exciting plans they had prior to the pandemic, for example, their IPO, feels a lot more closer than it was before. Perhaps we will see Airbnb go public early next year. So what do you think the future looks like for Airbnb? Now, time to move on to an app that I just simply cannot escape from. Since lockdown, 90% of my meetings, games nights, birthday parties, onboarding or training processes have been on Zoom. And if you can see the reaction of the team behind the camera, they are nodding their head in agreement. So, no matter what we've tried to do, we haven't been able to avoid it, and now here I am in front of a camera, again, talking about Zoom. So, what has actually happened? Earlier this month, Humanitarian China, US-based civil rights organization, said that the organization's Zoom account had been shut down after online meetings were held to commemorate the 31st anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre, which happened in 1989, which the Chinese government actually forbids its citizens from observing. Zoom on Thursday also admitted that the Chinese government demanded the termination of these meetings and host accounts after they were informed, after they informed Zoom that these meetings were illegal. When you unpack this story a bit more, we found out that not all of the hosts or attendees of these online meetings were based in mainland China. So upon finding this out, Zoom proceeded to reinstate their accounts for two of the hosts who are based in the US and one of the hosts who is based in Hong Kong. Zoom then later apologized for ending the meetings entirely. The reasons behind this was the fact that although these meetings may have been illegal in China, they were not illegal in the aforementioned countries. Zoom has started to use their resources to build technology that can either remove and or block people based on the country that they are based in, which will allow Zoom to meet some of the requests of the Chinese government without overreaching and infringing on the rights of users in other countries. Zoom also stated that by doing this, we are improving our global policy to respond to these kind of requests. This will be outlined, they said, in their transparency report, which will be published on June the 30th. I think it's fair to say that China doesn't have a healthy relationship with foreign big tech companies, and they have had spats with companies ranging from Google and Apple, whose spats are much more common knowledge, to companies like Tumblr, Steam, and everything in between. In the past, not complying by Chinese regulations can lead to revenue loss, or even worse, being pushed out of the market completely. However, it looks like Zoom wants to have a good relationship with the Chinese government. So, what do you think? Is complying with the Chinese government's censorship request a smart move by Zoom, or do you think that they should dig their heels into the ground and be an advocate for free speech? Unfortunately, that is all we've got time for today. As mentioned last week, we do want to make this a weekly thing, so we're going to need your support in order to make that happen. So again, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz that will allow us to, or that will help our YouTube algorithms. And yeah, we said we didn't have an outro last week, and this week we still don't have an outro. So I'm going to leave you with this.